Alright, so for my video 2, I will be reviewing and talking about my research report. So I'll be reviewing the problem of practice, research question, conceptual framework, literature review, my methods, contribution to professional practice, and discussion, and then concluding remarks. So first up, for my problem of practice, as an education coach within my organization, it was really evident that teachers and home visitors within RollCap, the company I work with, do not have access to reliable professional development because they do not have access to dependable internet and hands-on materials. Everything is expected to be delivered through the phone or in person, but because of COVID, this last school year, no one has traveled into the sites, leaving a lot of people untrained and unsupported, unfortunately. And over the previous years, there have been numerous attempts to provide accessible professional development, but they've been unsuccessful, unfortunately. RollCap used to provide hands-on professional development, but they stopped and put everything online. So with my research, my goal was to find a tangible solution to provide reliable, accessible professional development to employees at RollCap. My research question is from the perspective of the teachers and home visitors within RollCap, what changes are needed to improve access to professional development within rural communities. My conceptual framework. The conceptual framework used for my project was based on the need for professional development. Home visitors and teachers are not earning their CDA in an acceptable time frame, and so this prompted the research to begin and find a solution to assist teachers and home visitors in having access to reliable professional development. For my literature review, the key themes when reviewing the literature were technology, professional development strategies, and the ramifications of COVID-19. And so since COVID-19, professionals have depended on technology for providing professional development, but rural communities do not have access to professional development because it all relies on internet. And I discovered how Native American, Black, and Hispanic students and members of low-income households and students living in rural areas are less likely to have that internet access they need to participate fully in their education. And the professional development and strategies I reviewed mentioned how the enhancement of teachers' content and pedagogic knowledge is the most frequent characteristic of effective professional development. And to have effective professional development requires time. And within that time, it needs to be well organized, carefully structured, and purposely directed, of course. Another strategy is setting realistic expectations for staff because living in rural locations may present setbacks. And with COVID infecting local villages, coaches were not able or allowed to travel to sites, preventing sites to have access to the training they typically receive. And so for my methods, I use mixed methods to address my research question. I use qualitative by asking two open-ended questions, and I use quantitative by asking closed-ended questions. 24 people participated. The participants in my study were Head Start teachers, teacher assistants, and early Head Start home visitors. I emailed every teacher and home visitor a survey using SurveyMonkey, and the survey included multiple choice and open-ended questions, as I mentioned. And then the SurveyMonkey survey then translated the results into percentages and bar graphs. And then for contribution to professional practice, my findings and professional product. The significant findings identified were that the teachers and home visitors preferred hands-on materials for professional development, and they prefer in-person training, and that the internet and COVID-19 was the most significant setback when receiving professional development. And for the discussion and implications for professional practice in the profession, the essential outcome of this research was discovering how and what needed to be changed. And through my research, it was clear how to move forward in providing tangible, reliable, and accessible professional development. It has provoked a whole new start of a new professional development system to be put into place, spearheaded by me. And this system will include binders with PowerPoints printed and placed into a binder along with any accompanying documents for examples. And then the binders are meant to be sent out at the beginning of the school year and then used to train home visitors. And then the binders will then be updated every year to provide accurate and updated information. I will also be creating binders that provide education about the development of children 0 to 3 years old and best practices to provide families with quality service. And then lastly, I'm creating a binder with directions and information on earning a CDA. Early Head Start has been out of compliance with staff not earning their CDA within 2 years of hire, and so home visitors need to be set up for success and how to earn their CDA. And so hopefully with this new system that's hands-on professional development that I'm creating, it will set everyone up for success. And in the past, binders were used for professional development, but over the years, the professional development has all been shifted to an online format, which is not feasible for rural communities. And so I see that, and so I make sure that I am advocating for us to use this binder system. And with this research I conducted, I can show clear evidence of why this hands-on visual binder system should be implemented. And as I mentioned, I hope to set not only the home visitors up for success, but also the future education coach. I don't know how long I will be in this position, but there's no training for my position as well. And so I'm thinking about the whole organization, not just the home visitors. So I believe it's crucial and essential that a system is put into place, because if so, this system will allow future employees access to easy to follow, tangible materials to train themselves and the home visitors. Because when I started, I didn't have any hands-on materials whatsoever. So I'm really hoping that this will provide some guidance and support. And when I'm done creating all the system, I have a few more weeks I've been working on it. My supervisor and the family service coordinator will review it and will make edits as needed as a team. And since March of this year, 2022, RollCap has been revisiting and revising onboarding, orientation, and professional development. And I'm included in this onboarding team, but it's been a really prolonged process due to many different ideas and a lack of significant alignment of what should be included in orientation and professional development. It's many different positions trying to have one goal in mind. But since I have approval from my supervisor to begin my new professional development binder system, I plan to share my findings with them and showcase my new binder system for the professional development. And unfortunately, I won't know how successful the system will be, but not yet. But once all the binders are created and sent out to sites at the beginning of the year, I will have a grasp on the success of this new system. And of course, I hope it's successful. And then I will be able to suggest this to the Head Start side. I can suggest it to the Head Start side of RollCap, and they can start implementing this binder system as well and set their teachers and teacher assistants up for success. And the Early Head Start team hopes to hire as many as 3 to maybe 6 new home visitors. And so with those new hires, I'll be able to gauge how successful this new system is. I'll also hopefully be able to travel to sites as well, so I'll have the binders in hand at the sites, and I'll be traveling, so they will have the in-person training. And so for it to be successful, though, across the board, everyone will need to agree with this idea. And sometimes having so many people on a team can be challenging because everyone has their own idea of how to be successful, and creating hands-on materials is very time-consuming and tedious work, but in my opinion, it's necessary so we can provide reliable and access professional development to our rural communities, because that's what they need to feel supported. So I'm really hoping that creating this system for Early Head Start is the beginning of a new professional development system across Rural Cap. And for my closing remarks, I'd say overall I'm really, really glad I went with this research project, because I know I'm making a difference at work, and I will be contributing and being responsible for providing this accessible professional development to the home visitors I serve. So I really look forward to seeing how it all plays out.